So we're back in the house this week and we're going to be sorting this monstrosity, this makeshift TV stand, some good old tough built sawhorses on some chipboard. And the first thing we need to do, other than move it out of the way, is if you look behind here, well, we haven't actually been using the sockets behind here. When we occasionally watch TV, it's actually plugged into this double socket here. So we'll be doing the double sockets first. We've also got an aerial cable to wire up. Never done that before. And an Ethernet cable. Again, never done that before. Seen videos on it months and months ago, bought all the bits. Now I need to do the research again because I've got how to do it. Then we're going to get the TV mounted to the wall. This is a stud wall. And for those who didn't watch when I did that, I actually put a big piece of chipboard behind there in sections. So I've got a good sturdy area to mount to. And we were going to do a log store underneath the TV. But after doing all of that log splitting, it made me think, I don't like the idea of potentially storing anything that might have woodworm in the logs under here, which then might end up affecting our new wooden floor and all the trusses in the loft. So I don't think that's a good idea. And we've got this metal storage thing outside. I think we'll do that or build a nicer one. So the first thing me and Mr. TCD are going to do is, well, get this out of the way. And I've got my electrician-y stuff to do the sockets. So TV's gone. Let's get rid of this chipboard. We won't need that again, hopefully. So I'm going to stick it in the conservatory and it's going to be scorching in here. Yeah, scorching in here. Right, shall we dismantle these? Now again, I've already done a video on this, and for those who don't know, it is actually part of the ring main, which we went down here, then connected these two together, went back up, so it's continued. And from memory, it continues down here, back up, and then down to the other ones. I might have to change shirt in a minute because it's too hot. So we need to turn the electrics off because I want to get these done first. We've turned the solar off, so it's not powering us. All the storage heaters are off, and the rest of the electrics off. Nothing is on. Luckily, we've got nice long daylight hours, and it's a race against time before anything defrosts. Now, because we've got a TV hiding these sockets, originally we were going to go for USB ones, matching ones behind, but we thought, let's save these for elsewhere, but we will have one. So each of these are slightly different. Now, because I've got a metal back box, I need a bit of earth, which I'm going to pinch from an old cable, to go into this little screw here and at the back of the socket. So I will have a total of 3 earths on each one. So I'm pinching it from this for now, and I've got some side cutters, clamping it. There. So I'll cut it down later. This is practice for later. Snipped it in the middle, getting the earth, and I'm trying to strip it away. So I'm trying to pull it down while also getting rid of the sheath. Got it. Now, if you don't feel confident doing this, hire an electrician. So this is too long at the moment. I am going to cut it down to the length of the box and 1 inch. That's one done. Length of the box and 1 inch. Now, when I wired these up, I purposely left more than I needed. Anyway, I'm now going to disconnect the Wagos, which helped create a continuous loop to the other end. And these are very useful. And I'll definitely be reusing these for another job. Right, okay, side snips. So now I'm snipping the middles of the sheaths. Again, strip the sheath without cutting my copper. Right. But this one, because this is just threaded in, I need to be careful I don't do too much because I'm pull it either side. Worst case, I just go and cut another piece. This is more awkward than the last one I did because I need to step on something. Right, I'll leave that as it is. Right, next one. It's 3:30 in the afternoon right now, and it's just nice having daylight hours to do this. So the sheaths are now all split. So I now need to pull the live and the neutral apart, and then I can cut the sheath down. Just do that. legs akimbo. Starting to look a mess now. I'm getting my side cutters again, and I'm cutting down the excess of the sheath, but I need to make sure the sheath is inside this box. So I've got to carefully snip the sheath off with my snippers without damaging any of the wires. Right, we'll group the wires together shortly. Remember this one? There's a bit of movement there. Done. Done. So I need to now group my wires together. So I've got my neutrals there. I'll get my earths there as well. And that is my lives. And be mindful as well where the earth is. Earth, neutrals, and my lives. So obviously these wires are too long. So basically I need to give myself enough room to connect them to the front socket, the socket cover, and to be able to squish them, fit them in the actual back box. What I was always taught is cut it down to the length of the back box and leave yourself an inch. And that also helps you if the wiring is on the other side of it, because the live and neutral aren't always on the same side. So we've got neutral there and a live there. That's the non-USB one. And then we've got this one where live and neutral is on that side and earth is there. I need to now put some green sleeves on the earths. So I'm pushing that right to the base, folding it at the end, and pulling it back. So that's where the earth stops. I know I need about ½ an inch shorter. Slotting that over, folding that there, pulling it back a bit, cutting ½ an inch. So this is my favourite job, using wire strippers. Now I'm using Stanley Fatmax ones. When I did lighting in the loft, I used some cheaper, well, they looked identical, but they weren't Stanley, and I could not cut through the wires. And by the way, I'm stood on a stool now because it was just a bit too tall for me. So I'm cutting off 1 centimetre. There. I don't want to cut off too much because I don't want any copper exposed when I do screw them into the back of the socket. So I may as well do them all at the same time. Now the trick is to group the wires and try and get them into the screw holes and hide all of these wires in the box. I need a little screwdriver. So I've got live there, neutral there, and earth there. So I need to unscrew these partially, only partially because they're a devil to get back in, and you can lose them on the floor. So we'll do the other one as well. So those are unscrewed. Now I need to unscrew the earth wire screw in the back box. So because I've reused some earth from other cables, I need to put an earth sleeve on it, and I've lost my snippers. These are the first things I'm going to put in. So my grounding cable, rat's tail, earth wire is in the little screw in the back box, and I'm screwing it up. Now I feel it getting tight, and I'm going to do a 1/4 turn. And I'm going to do a tug test. That's not going anywhere. So we're going to start with the USB one. It's on that side, live and neutral. So I'm going to put the neutrals into the neutrals. Should not see any exposed copper there, and I can't. So that's good news. So I'm going to screw that in. Again, I don't want it too tight. When it starts getting tight, I'll do a 1/4 turn. Tug test. Yep, that's in. Live. Brown. They're in. I don't see anything exposed. Tightening up. Right, it's not coming out. This one has 2 earths, so I can put the main 2 earths from the wires, the main wires, into the top. And then I'm going to put the back box earth in the bottom one. Right, tightening up. I could have put those in with that, just sort of for ease. I've got this here. So we're back on the other one, the non-USB one. So this is different. Now the trick is to get them to all fit in the back. So I'm pushing it down, going like that to try and get them to bend in. And I need to push them together without squashing them too much. This is easier said than done. So these have got lugs at the side. So that moves. So we're going to put the fixed one in first, because the adjustable one is to make sure you get it all level. This one is fixed on this side, so I'm going to put that one in first. Because I've got plasterboard, I've had to use a longer screw. So I've decided to put both of them in for now, because I know that the adjustable one I can tighten up right at the end. I just wanted to make sure it was definitely going in the screw hole. So I'm tightening that one up, and I know that there's no wires behind there. And I'm doing the majority of this one now, the adjustable one, before I get a boat level on there. So the sockets are all screwed on now, and it's definitely level. And Mr. TCD's turned the electrics on, and I want to test with the USB socket. Yay! Test the other one anyway. I've heard these can fail on people, but anyway. That was nice and straightforward. Let's test the hairdryer, which Hans does not like, dear. Alright, let's test the others. Nice. Yay! Now for the next two, the aerial and the Ethernet, we don't need to turn the electrics off for that, but I do need to go back to reminding myself how I need to do those, because I've never done those before. So for mounting the TV, we do have this old TV bracket for a much smaller TV. And this is the mounting bracket that goes onto the wall, and then you're meant to slot the TV bracket onto it. But if you have a closer look, by the time we've hooked the TV on, you've got a centimetre either side to play with. Now what's making me nervous here is we might not be able to see where it is on the bracket, so it actually might be a little bit like that. So what we've decided to do is order a slightly bigger one. It gives us more room to play with. Now if you've never ordered any brackets before, the key measurement you need to look for is the mounting screws here, the distance there. So this is 600, and apparently most of them are 600. So we're going to order exactly the same design, but you can get ones that pull out so you can manoeuvre the telly. But because this is so heavy, I don't really want to rely on any angled parts. So I've got my action cam so I can give you a closer shot of this. So the next thing I want to do is connect the aerial cable, the coaxial, to a coaxial socket. So it'll go like that, or wall plate. But just in case I miss anything with that camera, I've got my action cam on as well. Then I'll be doing the Ethernet, but I just want to say, we may not need these. A lot of you said we should install them while I did the batten wall, but the other half of you said not to bother with this at all. Now, we don't actually watch TV through the aerial, we watch it through the internet, Wi-Fi, and so that technically makes the Ethernet redundant as well. But they're there just in case, because we don't know what the future holds, and it was easier to set that up now before I put the plasterboard on. So I didn't want to have to do any damage later on. Now I said earlier, I've never fitted either of these before. So the coaxial socket, I've just got the instructions from the manufacturers and I'm going to be following them. First thing I need to do is score 18mm off the aerial. There. I've got to pull the braiding back now to get it out of the way. And I have seen people just twist that. Stanley knife again. Now we're going 8mm. I'm removing the insulation. There, that's gone. I'm now unscrewing the plate. I'll take those off. I've now got to get that clamped in there, but I think it needs a hook. No, it's too short. I need to strip it back a bit. No, I want a bit more off there. Right, I'm going to try and bend that without snipping. So I've got a little hook. Right, that's on. So now I need the plate. Ensure no loose conductors or strands are causing shorts. Trimmed a bit of that off. Now, because I didn't want to cut too much off, I thought I'd just push the rest up into the loft, which I couldn't do. So Mr. TCD's had to go up there and pull it from above, and I've told him when enough was enough. And now I'm going to screw the cover on. So that's 3 done. Now the Ethernet. Now I took your advice and went for 2 cables in case one of them failed. And last year, not a few months ago, last year, when I did put them in the loft, I actually numbered them. So I've numbered them on the other end as well. So I've got 1 and 2, although it makes sense the other way around now. When I do come to fit it over here, it's probably going to be in this area. And the other end of those cables is actually here. Mr. TCD's been in the loft to bring them down, and you can see that they're labelled. And what we've done is we've bought a massive reel and cut it in half. So the cut ends are over there, and these are the connectors. So we're going to test it in our router, and then we'll put them back up there for the future. For this socket, I'll mostly be using this mini wire stripper and punch down tool. First to twist and slice the sheath to remove it. Then I remove the clear plastic layer, which just snapped off, and slot a cable tie into the strap holder to secure each cable. Although later I replaced one of them because I struggled to get it tight. So I've now secured the cables with the cable ties, and now I need to start connecting these into the right ports. But as I've just pulled these apart, for now, I've noticed I've got insulation in the way. So I'm using my side snips just to carefully get rid of the middle bit. Right, you might notice I've got different coloured cable ties because one, I just couldn't get it tight, and now it's secure. The other one's fine. Trim that off so they're not in the way. Done. So if you look closely, I do have some twisted wires, and I've now got to match the colour codes here. So I've got a solid orange at the top, and I've got a orange and white, a green and white, then I've got to match the other ones on the side. Now you might think, oh, I can't see a blue and white. I can just about see it. The white one does have a bit of blue going through. So I'm going to now connect these with this little tool, this end here, and push them in. And I'm going to work my way from this side and then that side as well. Now I know I'm going to get comments about humming in the background. I've had to put a fan on behind me. It's that hot today. I said that this time last year when I did the batten wall. So I'm now going to separate this orange and white one. So I've got a solid orange one here. So then I get this tool and I push that in down there like that. Right. So that's in. Right, next one. Green. It looks scary initially, but actually now it looks fun. I say that, if this doesn't connect, then I'll change my mind. Then I've got 2 more left. I'll just make sure they're all down. So the first lot's done. I'm going to trim the excess off. Next one. So that is what it's looking like, all trimmed down. Now I need to put the plate back on the wall. So I've screwed the cover on. Now I need to test it, but quickly I just want to show you this cable tester that I've bought. I'm going to show you how it works at the back of our router. And notice these 2 black cables are 1 and 2 that belong to the ones that I've just wired up. Anyway, so if you look at this, what it's doing is showing me green power, and it's showing me all the ports light up and working. So I'm going to take it out now, and I'm going to show you what it does over at mine. So we'll put it in there. So it misses one completely, goes down and stops at 7 and 8. So I've got things to sort out. So I'm going to make a note. So I've made a note of those. That's 3 ports I've got to look at. Now, 1, 2's not there. 2, 5, 6. 2, 5 and 6. Oh God. So note to self, don't screw this in line properly until it's all tested and it's fine. I'm hoping it's an easy fix. So 1. What? Oh, it's that one there. 7 is out a little bit. Go on. I think they've moved as I've bent this and screwed them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Great. Right, let's see what internet speed it's giving us while connected. And this is without. So the download speed is 160% faster connected to the Ethernet with a 58% increase on upload speed. Okay, so fan is still on. It's really hot, but I just want to show you this. This is the original TV mounting plate that we had, and that's a new one that we've ordered. That is significantly bigger. So the TV is flat down on a cushion. We can't put pressure on it. We've lined up our new brackets on the back. So it comes with a selection of different screws and washers in case it's curved at the back. And that's what I'm fitting now. So we've got it all set up on the back, and I've had to hook the mounting plate there temporarily just so I can work out the distance from the top, so I know it will cover the sockets later. So I've had to use a right angle, a roofer square, to measure it up from the top, but we've decided to go from the screw holes. So the pencil line will be our screw holes there. So that is 49 centimetres for a start. Offered it up from the top, knowing 49 was there, but we decided we wanted the TV to make sure it was still at eye level, but also absolutely make sure that nobody could see these sockets, well, Mr. TCD anyway, because he's taller than me. I'd be fine with that because I wouldn't be able to see it. We've also made sure it's central. So anything above will definitely cover it, but this is, to us, the sweet spot. So if we go 49 centimetres from there, it'll be the height there. We'll keep that there, but we know that the TV is 96 centimetres tall, so it'll be about there. So Mr. TCD sat down to get an idea, and something that we learned while we lived on a narrowboat with the TV low down under the gunnels, or in the gunnels, is when we put our feet up to watch TV, it blocks the view. So right now he's doing that. It was really irritating. Oh, sorry. So that's the centre point. This is the line where we need to put our drill holes. And don't forget, there's wood under here as well. There's no voids behind there. Yeah, I just need to drill a hole in this intersect here. Right, I need to quickly talk to you about these screws, the mounting screws that I'm going to use, because I couldn't use the ones that came with the kit. So these are the screw bolts that came with the kit, and they are about 90 millimetres long. And by the time I've deducted my 25mm battens and 12.5 millimetre thick plasterboard, it would leave me about 50mm into the breeze blocks. And I just personally don't think that's enough. Not for a heavy TV. It's not the heaviest, it is about 40 kilograms, and yes, there'll be 6 on there, but that is 50 millimetres. And the reason I'm concerned about this in our situation is we know that the only solid red brick in the house is along the base. All the rest are breeze blocks, and they're aerated breeze blocks. And when I have put screws in them, it's not always been foolproof. So instead, because the TV is not as heavy as the mounting bracket is rated to, I think that's 100 kilograms or 150, I've gone for my good old favourite masonry screws, concrete screws that don't require rawl plugs for a start. And these are 122 millimetres long. So that might sound overkill, but these are slightly thinner than these as well. But that gives me peace of mind for the depth that will be in, because I think 50mm might just come out over time, and I don't want to risk that and the TV drop on the floor and break. Now, because my breeze blocks are on the bristle side, I'm actually going to pre-drill with a 5mm masonry drill bit for a 7.5mm screw. If it doesn't work out, I've just got to go up a slightly thicker drill bit, which I've got. I'm actually using a 7mm wood drill bit for this because it's got a nice point there. I can point on my pencil mark. So there. And don't forget, I know that there's no wires or cables under here because I fitted these and they come from above. That's if you've skipped to this part of the video. Right, I've hit wood. No. Right, I've hit brittle breeze block. So I'm working on the centre point first because I can then get it level on either side. So now we are going for a 5mm. Now I know I need to go to the depth of this anyway. Last time I used an impact driver, and I'm not going to this time because I want full control. And these require a Torx bit as well, a Torx drill bit. Another thing we learned last time doing the batten wall is you've really only got one chance with these screws. I love them because you don't need raw plugs, but if we have to take them out and put them back in, sometimes it loses its purchase. Right, I don't want to tighten it up anymore yet. Anyway, I've got a spirit level this time. I'm happy with that. Right, we'll do that one. I got fed up with the screwdriver. I've gone for an impact driver, but I've got to be careful. Absolutely fine. I don't want to hang off it because I don't want to damage my wall. It's still plasterboard. So I think, do we need to just get this TV on? I'll tell you what, it's nice that it's not too high to get it on. I'm on mine too. Oh, hey, I don't see the things. I like this. Channels added, 180 digital channels. So this means I've wired up my coaxial cable successfully for the first time. And we can now watch terrestrial TV if the internet goes down, which I've not done for years. But just look at those lights in the evening. And if we had dangling cables, I think it'd just ruin the effect. And thanks to everyone who came up with these suggestions about adding extra things at the back. Initially, I dreaded doing all of these things because I'd never done them before, but I knew that they were good ideas. I was just going to stick a socket on there and be done with it. But now we've finally got the floating TV with no visible wires that we've always wanted because we were able to plan it. But the next thing that I need to sort out, I think, is curtains. Because if you look behind you, we've had to temporarily drape these old rag things just to stop reflection bouncing off the screen. But I hope you found that useful while I was learning the coaxial and the Ethernet stuff. I enjoyed it in the end, and I've never done it before, and I know I can do it for other rooms in the house. And as usual, if you've got any tips and tricks for me, let me know in the comments, and hopefully I'll see you in my next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.